Once again, it's Wednesday, and Scotty D is chuckling like an evil madman. Welcome to another episode of your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I got all three of us here, myself, the HOC, Eddie Cool, the Almighty B Live, and Scotty D. But before I get into it, fellas, I want to say something to the both of y'all right here, right now. I am uber proud of the both of y'all because we've come a long way from 2019 episode 1 from sounding like hot garbage and Hassenpfeffer. But I want to say that outside of the podcast, if anybody is happy for y'all, it's me, because you got B-Live down there, the studio manager at was it the Share Studios, the Share Podcast Studios?
Share Studios, yes.
Shared Studios down there in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then we got the money man, Scotty D, who's going back to school. Where you going, Scotty D? Is it Waynesboro?
Waynesburg University, starting in just a couple weeks here. I am going to be a 50-year-old college student.
Let's go. If I haven't told y'all enough already, man, I am extremely proud of both of y'all, and I'm so happy. And when I thought about this podcast, I didn't know where it was going, but it's really opened up some doors and some avenues for all three of us. But it ain't about me; it's about y'all two right now. I'm trying to give y'all flowers, y'all moment, and I just want y'all to know that I am incredibly proud of y'all from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not gonna cry. I promise. I'm not gonna cry. But that was some coherent rambling. That was something straight from the heart. But with that being said, not only do I have one, but I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the Almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I want to say this to my man, Scotty D. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's as long as you finish the course. Finish the race. Don't be like Stetson Bennett and be 35 years old. Still don't have a degree after 7 years of school. Get in, get out, do what it do. Scotty D, do your thing. Did I just give you a compliment?
You just did that. You did that.
Felt weird.
Oh hell no. Let's get back to normalcy. Go ahead and introduce the other guy. I guess he's got to be on the podcast too. That felt about all right.
Yep. Being too nice, and he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the toughest, meanest, roughest, thuggest, ruggedest. Did y'all see on the news where they stole the Bone Thugs and Harmony Street sign? People can never have nothing. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scotty D.
Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Yeah. Just had that one stuck in my head. That's all. So that is truth. What you guys just said. I am going back to school like Thornton Mellon doing the triple Lindy off the diving boards. I am no respect at all. I'm going back to school for I'm taking courses in sports announcing at Waynesburg University. So it is something related to what we're doing here. I am a little bit nervous about it because I am an older student, non-traditional type student, but I am very much excited and looking forward to this opportunity. Having said that, I don't know what things are going to look like for me coming up this fall. I'm going to I'm having to take time off of my jobs. I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be busy. I may miss a segment or two or maybe a podcast or two, but either way, we'll work through it and come out on the other side. Wish me luck, because I only have to do this for 2 semesters. So hopefully this time next year we'll be have all that behind me and we'll be on to bigger and better things. But yeah, and I'm excited for you to be live doing your thing, and Eddie Cool is off to the races here with high school football season coming up in Ohio here in just a couple weeks. It's a good time of year for sports, guys.
Actually, this Friday we're going
this
live.
Friday. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it is.
It's here.
And Scotty D, don't worry about it. We've already got your replacement. He's a younger version of you. We'll bring on Hunter. It's all good. Be out with the old, in with the new. And also,
if anybody you would bring in, that would be my pick probably. So,
and if anything else, we could recruit a local rapper and be like Skip Bayless and bring him onto the show.
yeah. Lil Wayne.
We can't afford Lil Wayne, so but we'll find a local rapper.
That is a clever move by Skip, trying to stay in good with the black community after running off yet another brother.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, we can't find, Lil Wayne ain't in the budget, but we got to find Big Timmy. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. Week 1 of the NFL preseason has come and gone. There's been a lot going on in the meantime, of course, we got Dalvin Cook. He finds a home with the Jets. Zeke Elliott gets signs with the Patriots. He finds a home as well, too. So with that being said, fellas, what are your takeaways from week 1 of the NFL preseason?
First off, let's go and get a couple of ground rules together.
Okay, I won't show you up again. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Shut up. Let's start there. And when it comes to preseason, please, for the love of God, people, stop. Just calm down. Like, I'm a Panthers fan. We scored 0 points in our first preseason game, and everybody is falling off the rails. Like, our season's already over. And I'm just like, we got a rookie quarterback. We got a head coach the first time with the system there. We got a bunch of new coaches, new systems, new players. It's going to be all right. Relax. I look at it this way. Even our expectations weren't even high to start with. It's going to be fine. Calm down. Let's just enjoy football. Just whatever. Second of all, again, to all fan bases, calm down. Like, everybody, if according to multiple reports and everything, we might as well go ahead and hand off the MVP to Justin Fields. The 3 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. That sounds like a great stat line, but he threw the ball. It was screened.
Yeah.
Wide receiver did all the work. If anything, can we get DJ Moore back, please?
Ooh.
But
that's him.
But they just Justin Fields, the hype is there. So again, I look at week 2, you'll get to see more because you'll see more the starters playing a little bit more. A couple things I also took away, and hats off and kudos to Pat Mahomes playing the series. Like, out of all players, I think he could take week 1 off, but he wanted to play a series. Russell Wilson in Denver played multiple series. You would think, out of all people,
that he's trying to win a job.
Yeah.
Hey, what he got the money though? What, 5 years, $250 million, X amount of it guaranteed, whatever. But he was out there. He trying at least. Did Dak play his first week?
No, but our good quarterback played a couple series. Cooper Rush played a couple.
And then
he said the good quarterback.
Speaking of the good quarterback, now people want to bench Trevor Lawrence because what was his name? What the 3rd string quarterback for Jacksonville? That
yeah, he shook off a couple tackles against the Cowboys and threw a touchdown. Yeah.
5. Like, every person that touched that dude should be cut immediately. Tackle.
Yeah, that was bad.
And he threw a miraculous. I was like, well, yeah. Guess what? You probably still not gonna. You may make the team because of that one play, but people relax. It's okay. It's all right. The Jets are still not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care who they sign. That Dalvin Cook was a pretty good pickup, but
that's a really good pickup.
Really good freaking pickup. God Almighty, the Jets are just
because he's good. It would have been a good pickup for anybody that would have had the sense to sign him.
$8.6 million. Still ain't paying the man enough.
And
Brees
Hall,
how is he going to get by? How is he going to get by this year? And I feel for him.
And Brees Hall got activated from the PUP list of a few days ago. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. From so we'll see. It'll be a 1-2 punch. And you remember that thing I sent in the the ESPN graphic, and ESPN like, with the Patriots signing Ezekiel Elliott, is Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott the best 1-2 punch? It ain't stop.
The hype thing that ESPN tries to do with every story is ridiculous.
Just stop.
Every story is new hype. This is the best thing ever. Like, this, oh my God. Like, I don't even understand why they do this, because all you're doing is setting us up to go back and be like, didn't you say this a few weeks ago? And then bust. And then they're gonna turn that into a whole nother story. That's what they do. They make stuff up just to make another story when somebody can come back and say, I told you so, you overreacted, and blah, blah. I'm like, how about stop making up these dumb narratives and just let people play football? And
yeah, let the season play out. Just like you say, be like, let's get to week 1 first and then go from there. How about that? Can we do that, please?
Please. Oh, Scotty D.
So let me give you a couple. I'm going to give you 3 points as it pertains to my team, and that might be 3 more points than any kicker for the Cowboys can produce. Because at last we saw the Dallas Cowboys in a meaningful game, the field goal kicker was shanking balls, extra points, that is. And now he's gone, and they replaced him with a guy named Brandon Aubrey. Have you ever heard of him? You guys know who he is? Nope. You know why I've never heard of him? Because he didn't even play college football. He's a soccer player, and he played 1 year in the USFL, and now he's the kicker for the Cowboys. And he missed an extra point the other night. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to jump to a conclusion at this point that the Cowboys need a kicker quickly. That was the first point. Second point, I'm sick of greed, even when it comes to my own players. And Zach Martin holding out and crying till he got his way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad the guy's there, but you made me the highest paid player a couple years ago, and other people now are making more, so I need more. I hate that. I'm sick of that in the NFL, and I'm sick of that in the NBA. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. And my third point is Goose Vaughn fever is already sweeping Texas, and it's going to spread. This dude's like 5'1", and he's faster than a speeding bullet, cutting through the Dallas Cowboys backfield and slicing through your secondary before you can even see him because you can't find him. So Deuce Vaughn, he's a 6th-round draft pick running back. He's got a 2-year career probably, and then he'll be gone after he makes his $7 billion, and then he'll be poor. Anyway, that's my 3 points I had there for what I witnessed and watching my own team play the first night.
Well, let's see. So you told me right now, Scotty D, your Cowboys not only have a former USFL player and a former XFL player, all that smack you be talking about these leagues, and now your Cowboys have formed a USFL kicker.
Wasn't Turpin also USFL?
Yeah, he was the MVP. Cavante Turpin was the MVP.
I think
or XFL?
Yeah, I think
USFL.
He was USFL too.
Either way, though, one of them leagues that Scotty D doesn't like. Either way, that and the Cowboys are filling up their roster, and I love it because irony, sweet irony.
There's a good chance neither are on the opening day roster.
They're not cutting Turpin. They're not cutting him at all.
I don't know.
The kicker, I don't know what to tell you, but that's what happens when you pay kickers more than you pay running backs. I said what I said. So
well, I'd like to have Zeke back to kick. Then I'd take him.
I'll tell you what.
Don't let your babies grow up to be running backs.
Yeah. Wow. So I'll tell you who I've been kind of sort of impressed with during the preseason up here in Cleveland. A quarterback, he has 3 initials by the name of DTR, who was, by the way, born in Columbia, South Carolina. Quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson. He's been pretty solid during the preseason, only 2 games in. He's completed 17 to 21 passes off 184 yards and 47 rushes on 9 carries. I mean, he's been looking pretty good, and looks like he might just kind of push Kellen Mond out the way for that backup job for Deshaun Watson. So that's what I've seen. I'm like, okay, all right, it looks pretty good, and come and provide a spark for the offense. But a major circumstance will have to happen in order for him to get some playing time, like Deshaun Watson gets hurt or
So
what.
Watson's going to be the starter this year. That's guaranteed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the looks of he's gonna be the starter. But I mean,
Okay.
at least he has somebody behind him that can
I was
make
kind of just playing around with that word guaranteed.
fully guaranteed.
Yeah,
All of it. Everything. And Deshaun Watson. Wow. That's my boy. You see the Paul. You know that's my boy, but boy, oh, do y'all want to go ahead and talk about it when it comes to Cleveland and dumb decisions?
Cleveland and dumb
sure.
decisions. Well, what did they do? What did they do? Cleveland and dumb decisions.
Well, they drafted Johnny Manziel in the first.
Oh wow.
The Manziel documentary came out, and boy, Felice. That's all I can say. Felice. What in the world?
Very interesting documentary. If you guys haven't seen this show, I think it's only an hour long, right? Be Live. It's not super long.
A little over an hour long.
Yeah, it's a good watch though.
Kevin Sumlin has no backbone whatsoever.
None.
Zero backbone. Just Johnny Manziel fleeced the NCAA in outstanding fashion.
Yeah, he did.
So, and basically at the end of the day, give Reggie Bush his Heisman back. That's all I got out of the entire thing. But
let me give you my quick takeaway. That first of all, Johnny Football was a man ahead of his time because he is a guy who really could have used an NIL deal. I mean,
big time,
he would be perfect for today's college football. And whenever he started talking about it, it brought up exactly why these kids wanted to get out of college football and go take the money. He's talking about how he took Texas A&M to do basically just another team and to heights they've never seen before, where the stadium is packed and they're going to build a new stadium and people are dressing up wearing Halloween costumes that he wore, or dressing up like it was a Scooby-Doo, I think, right? Didn't we wear a Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
The other people, he saw people. This guy had every opportunity to rub elbows with celebrities, and you can't blame him. He's 19 or 20 years old, and he's at a club with Drake and meeting the LeBron and all the top athletes and celebrities, and they are selling millions of dollars worth of his jersey, and he said, "I didn't have any money." I said that didn't sit well with me. Well, you can't blame a kid for that. I mean, I don't blame Johnny Manziel one bit, because then he found out, well, I can make $30,000, like 30 grand a week, split it 80-20 with my buddy who's helping me just by signing autographs. And then he got his buddy to take the fall, and he did. Like you say, he fleeced the NCAA. But if he got caught, so what? What did he care? Because he knew he was getting out of there after his second year anyhow. He already said, I'm moving on to other things. That was the first takeaway I had. The second takeaway I had was about this documentary is I felt like when it began, they started off showing him at a Texas A&M function, and at one point they showed him, and he's like shaking hands and all that, and then they showed him at one point he's on the field getting acknowledged. I kind of thought as this was beginning that this was going to be a little bit of a happy ending redemption story, and it's not. I always thought Johnny Manziel was kind of a D-bag, and after watching it, I still feel that way. It's not like a Ryan Leaf story where Ryan Leaf overcame all of his demons, and then he got a job with ESPN, and he acknowledged his past and used that as to help other people. Johnny Football was talking about many times he's been through rehab and was like drinking on his way out of rehab practically. And at the end of the documentary, he's sitting there with a beer in his hand, talking about how he's living his good life in Arizona, but he's not doing anything. He's not working. He's that at least they mentioned. I mean, he's only 29 years old. He's athletically still in his prime. He could have made good. He could have turned this around, but he just said, I just kind of lost interest in football. It wasn't fun anymore once he got out of college and he was in Cleveland. But do something. I mean,
yeah, you gotta do something. You gotta do something.
He's not doing anything. They showed at the beginning. Somebody said, "What are you doing now?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just out in Arizona." enjoying life. And then they show him he's like drinking beer, throwing darts with his boys. I mean, nothing's changed. He's still like the frat dude that he claimed he was in the first place. I hope that he does turn things around, but I don't feel like he has right now. I still feel like he's the same Johnny Manziel, maybe just a little more under the radar because he's not as famous as he was 5 or 10 years ago. I was a little disappointed in that.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect any turnaround story. I expected it to be exactly like it was because next Netflix bought it, and so guess what? He's going to get money off of that.
Yeah, more money coming to the bank account. You're right.
So,
but I thought that maybe we would see something at the end where he's like, I've grown a little bit as a young man, and I have this project I'm working on, or I'm doing this, or I'm going back to school for. None of that, and I didn't see any of that. I just saw the same Johnny football, just less exposure.
Yeah, it's just when I watched, I was like, okay, this is cool. But my favorite part of the whole documentary is when they started talking about the NFL Combine. When they started talking about like what he went through with the NFL Combine, as far as like, hey, I might have some stuff in my system. I gotta pee. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. It was just to see the depths that people go through to avoid a positive, a positive drug test. Is like, what in the hell is going on? Because I've been up since 4:30 this morning, fellas. I had a lot going on, but in a good way. Preparation, you know what I'm saying? Preparation. Early bird gets the worm. So I'm sitting there pouring my cup of coffee, and I'm like, boy, they are really going through it, and they had to pee, and he had chugging water and doing this and doing that, and he had to get clean, and then he came to the combine and showed out, and then it also went to the point where he did not watch film. They said he looked at Johnny Manziel's iPad and he logged in 0.0 hours of film study. I was like, well, I be damn. And somehow, some way,
he acted kind of proud of that.
Yeah, like, hey,
he did not care.
No.
And at the combine, he got the receivers he was supposed to throw to the next day so wasted that they didn't show up.
Yeah, they got so damn wasted. He was like, who you throwing to your agent? And it's like, well, run a slant. The agent's like, how the hell do I want a slant? What the hell's a slant? I don't know what this is. Yeah, and I was like, it's just Johnny football, Johnny reckless, Johnny irresponsible, all the above, and then some. So I'm kind of like B-Live. Well, here we are again. You're still doing the same damn thing. This time in Arizona, you got a bunch of money, but like you said, Scotty D, he was a man ahead of his time, and he really could have benefited off the NIL.
He's an interesting cat. I mean, it's no question about it. He's an interesting dude, and it's hard to say that given the circumstances. If I was a 19-year-old kid and the whole world suddenly knew me and suddenly loved me, and I suddenly had a chance to make a little bit of money and go hang out with celebrities, I mean, I can't point the finger at this guy and say you're bad, and I would never have done that because I've never been in that position. So, I'd like to think I would have been a little bit more responsible and seen the bigger picture, but that kid just didn't care.
No, he didn't.
I almost felt bad because I was like, I've made similar reckless decisions in my life.
Me too.
But good Lord, like his parents couldn't talk to him.
Nope.
His coach was just he's looking at dollar signs and the trustees and the board of directors and looking at all the money Texas A&M is bringing in. Y'all want to stop that gravy train? No. We're gonna get the fourth string quarterback to piss for him.
Yeah.
It was quite the tell all, but Johnny.
And if I'm mistaken, he never even got a second chance. Like, right? No team ever brought him in for another. Like, he never was on a preseason roster or in for a workout or anything. I think that I can remember. I think pretty much the whole league looked at this kid and said, "Yeah, we're good. We ain't gonna bother with this one."
You know what I was hoping to see when you first brought this document to my attention, Scotty D. I wanted to see what happened that got him booted out of Canada.
Oh, yeah. They didn't even touch on that at all, did they?
They didn't go nowhere near. I'm like, wait a minute, we got a big chunk of the story missing about what the hell happened in Canada.
I think if they really wanted to, they could have made that like a 3-hour, 3-part document.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of meat left on that bone as far as storytelling goes with that cat. Because wasn't he in a league last year with Terrell Owens or something? Wasn't he in that little silly league that you were watching B Live? Maybe you were calling plays for it or something.
Man control football.
Yeah, wasn't he in that?
He was calling plays for Johnny Manziel. Oh shit! Stop, Scott.
Am I wrong, or did I?
No,
He was in that, right?
You're not wrong.
That's okay. See, that didn't get mentioned either. Yeah, him and T.O.
Oh wow!
I think T.O. was on his team. I don't know. I didn't watch. That was in B Live's wheelhouse right there.
I'm running out of time. I used to have more time. Like that. I really do not. Man.
Oh, good. Welcome back.
I'm still gonna watch my XFL and USFL, but fan control football, it ain't
okay.
It ain't all it's cracked up to be, and you don't really get to call the plays. You get to vote on them, and with 10 other
whatever it was,
Cracker Jacks and popcorn on your couch.
There's only 20 people in the whole country watching it, so if you get 8 votes, and you probably get to play.
I'm over here thinking B Live calling ZY split left zipper boom tang pop 4 on 3. ZY boom tang pop on 3. Austin doing all kind of riffraff like that. But fellas, have y'all been moving right along? Have y'all been following this whole James Harden and Daryl Morey situation? Somebody want to request a trade. That he's in China calling him a liar, and China was like, "So you gonna dunk the ball or what?" Be like, what's going on with this messy? It's mess. What's going on with it, man?
Well, from what I gather, and this is just horrible way of doing things, and the entitlement factor is through the roof when it comes to James Harden. But he has a justifiable reason for being upset. Scotty D's not going to agree because I already know how he feels about greed and money and et cetera, et cetera. But Daryl Morey did tell James Harden the year prior that, hey, we're going to hold off on the max deal. Got to move this, got to change some things here and there. And now that max deal pretty much is not going to happen. James Harden is trying to get a trade so he can get a max deal somewhere else, because Philly basically saying, bro, you're not worth $250 million at all. It ain't gonna happen. And so that's where I would be mad too if I was up for $250 million raise, and then my boss said, hold off just a little bit, I'm gonna take care of you. And then it never happened. That's sort of how I got stuck here in Fayetteville, because I was only supposed to be here a year. And then my boss had told me I was only supposed to be here a year. He moved on to greener pastures. And then I'm just still here.
Wow.
And now I'm not upset, because, hey, I met a lot of great people here in Fayetteville. It was meant to be. So I'm here. And I wouldn't be in the studio if I'd have went on somewhere else. Everything happens for a reason, but $250 million. I'd be mad if I. Yeah.
Okay. I'd be mad too if I paid this guy what I've paid him and can't get past the first round or the second round of the playoffs. He's been overpaid for a long time, but here's the thing: he had the choice to be free. He wants to play for the Clippers. He had the opportunity to go play for Clippers. He opted into this contract. He picked the option up. You know why? Because it's $34 million, and nobody else is stupid enough to give this no defense and overweight playoff losing son of a gun that kind of money. Nobody. He's not worth it, and he knows it. He's 33 years old. He can't win playoff series after the first round. So
play it again. Be loud. Do it again.
What was that?
Hold on. Listen.
I got all sound effects. I forgot all about it.
I like it. I got a sound effect there. Yeah, I mean, he's not that player that's going to take you to the next level. He couldn't get Embiid to the next level. He was supposed to be the guy, and guess what he did last year? Same as he always does. Shows up lame in the playoffs. The later he gets in the series, the less you see of James Harden. So now he's like, no, I believe Daryl Morey probably said, James, we're going to try to get you out of here. We're going to try to trade you, but he's running a business. He's responsible not to make James Harden happy. He's responsible to do the best he can for that organization. And if the Clippers are saying, we're not going to give you a bucket of balls for this dude, he can't just say, okay, but he really wants to come there. So here, give me nothing and take him. I want to make James Harden happy. Take him. No, that's not how the business works. And whenever that well was dried up, he said, all right, James, we got to make it work with you this year. Well, he's a liar. I didn't get my way. He's a liar. Yeah. Okay. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants that kind of contract on their hands. Nobody wants James Harden.
And speaking of that quote, I'm gonna give you some time, be live. And speaking of that quote, Scotty D, while James Harden was on his Chinese tour, he said, and quote, it says, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. That's twice, ain't it? Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Go ahead, be live.
I want to ask Scotty D this because Scotty D, you make some very valid points. I knew you were going to make these points, and I do tend to agree with you on a certain level. Yeah, James Harden he's on that other side, and it ain't what it was. It used to be, whatever. How do you feel about Joel Embiid cutting all ties on social media with the 76ers?
Well, what do you mean?
He all of his social media, Joel Embiid took off any mention of the Philadelphia 76ers right after this whole James Harden, Daryl Morey situation.
Well, I don't know. I haven't talked to him, and I'm not sure if they haven't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the guys feel. Maybe he just doesn't want to be part of any of the fiasco, so he's like, I don't want to be involved. He's probably unhappy because you know why? All players are unhappy. Everybody's unhappy. Everybody in the NBA is unhappy. Kevin Durant's unhappy. Embiid's unhappy. I think the only one happy is Steph because he's out there in the sunshine and he's got a good contract and pretty wife and baby dolls all over the place. Yeah, I mean, everybody's unhappy. Everybody wants to win and they want money and I want trade. They all want. And then they lock themselves into big contracts and then they're mad when they can't get out of them and they want trade. I don't know. My guess is if I'm Philly, I would do everything at this point. I would probably trade Harden for just a couple Wilsons. I think I'd go ahead and do that, and I probably would want to move Embiid at this point too because he's not going to be happy, and he's already not shown you he can drag you into the third round because he's always hurt. So I like Joel Embiid, but I think he's probably better if he has an A player alongside with him and he's not relied on to be the A player. I'd trade him. I'd start getting draft picks and recoup and look for the future. Trust the process.
And give Tyrese Maxey some more time. Let Tyrese Maxey cook.
Steph Curry out here at concert singing with Paramore. Wow. He's living his best life.
He's the only happy person in the whole NBA, I think.
Yeah. He's out here doing his thing, man. He is out here doing his thing. Well, fellas, we've talked a lot, but looking at my phone, I'm getting to watch soon. Guess what time it is?
Yep. Let me see what it is. What's going on?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's time for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. The choices of the voices right after this, right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.